Ladies and gentlemen, today I am joined by a retired educator, actor, author, and playwright, Bill Foster. Bill, thank you so much for joining us tonight on the Absolute Geek Podcast. We're happy to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. How are you doing today, sir?
Show.
Hope everything's going good with you over there in Texas, right? You're in Texas?
You bet. Just kind of funny, I just stepped outside and I've got a blue tick hound and she had something bayed. I just moved to the town. I'm like, oh no, the neighbor's going to get all mad. Had to pick her up, carry her to the pen because she was not going to leave whatever it was under the fence. So sorry, a little late, but we're getting going now.
Hey, that's not a problem. Not a problem. We appreciate you taking the time to join us. So my first question is, so after spending 33 years in education, you finally retired in January of 2016.
Yes,
After that retirement, you decided to answer an open casting call you found on Facebook for the TV show The Sun, starring Pierce Brosnan.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have any kind of acting background before answering that casting call, or was it something you always wanted to do and just decided to try and said, let me throw my hat in the ring and let's go for it?
Yeah, I always wanted to be an actor, just always loved the behind the scenes. And when I decided to go down there and do the walk-on like they suggested, or open casting call, I thought, man, if I'm just really lucky, I might get to be able to walk down the streets, and just be one of those kind of guys or be sitting on the streets. And so then I actually got cast as a featured recurring character extra, which means you do everything the actors do except you don't have lines. And that just really opened the door. And seems like every time I'd apply for something, that's what I'd end up getting, was a featured extra. And I know that's really lucky, and I count my blessings every day. But, when I was in second grade, the teacher went around the room asking everybody what they want to do for when they grew up. And I was going to tell them I was going to be an actor because I loved Elvis Presley, John Wayne, all that. Well, the girl next to me said she wanted to be an actress, and everybody laughed at her. I thought, I don't want everybody laughing at me, so I made up something, So always wanted to be. And then we got into education. When I became superintendent, I was able to help the theater department a lot, my wife and I. And so we got to see help the junior high and high school kids in theater. And that really helped out a lot. Me, getting my bloods going on the acting side of it. And then I just kind of learned and as we went by watching the other actors and all that. And I just fell in love with it.
Very nice. So now that open casting call, was there a lot of people there? Or is it like you just went into a room and kind of just showed up and they gave you a script, or did you know what you were reading for beforehand, or no?
There was no reading. They just wanted you to show up if you had a costume to wear it. There were 1,500 people there in line. Luckily, I got there early enough to where I was probably in the first 200, and the line was longer when I got out. It was a hotel room. You just went in there and they took pictures, and you stood sideways, did kind of like the mug shots, and that's, and then you heard back from them. I was really shocked when I heard back from them, but now a little different on the Ballad of Buster Scruggs with Coen Brothers. The Coen Brothers actually handpick all of their extras, and you had to go through 3 rounds of selections, and it was just a picture in my resume. And they said they'd bring these stack of resumes and pictures to the Coen Brothers, and they'd stack them in yes or no, and then they'd take all the no's and throw them away and take the yeses until they got it down to where they wanted. Wow. And I tried to learn everything I could from them when I was there on set with them for 4 days. If it had been me and my brother, we'd had 3 fist fights in one day.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
But those 2 guys are amazing to watch them work together. I mean, one would completely set the scene, they'd shoot it, and then the other would say, I think I want to change it a little bit, and go in there and start tweaking it. And that, and then they did that all day for 4 days, just working with each other like that. So it was just amazing to watch them work.
That's interesting. Well, speaking of the Coen brothers, you're mostly known for your roles in Westerns, having worked with the likes of the Coen brothers and Robert Rodriguez. What is it about a show like Fear the Walking Dead or a movie like Alita Battle Angel that interests you to kind of step into that, out of that Western time frame and kind of into that post-apocalyptic or futuristic world?
That's exactly what I wanted. I want to step out of what I was comfortable with. I want to get out of my comfort zone and try that. Uh, in that Alita Battle Angels, they put me in skinny jeans, so that was definitely a different costume than what I was used to. And then, of course, Fear of the Walking Dead, I was lucky enough to be cast as one of the vultures, and so they had us like a homeless crew, gypsy crews that tried to overthrow the main crew, and so it's never going to be good when you try to overthrow the main stars. And then they brought me back as a walker, where I got to wear a mask and do that. And so being 6'5", they really liked me as a walker because you can reach over people, you can reach in windows, you can reach all the way across the car and try to grab people. And so it worked out well there. But yeah, I just want to step outside my boundary and try something new. And also be able to work for Robert Rodriguez was amazing. I actually did another movie for him just here a while back. We all can be heroes or something like that. It's a teen movie where the kids are heroes in it. So it's not come out yet. So I really can't wait to see that because I'm in one scene, which is really if they don't cut it, I'll be able to be seen right there. So it's pretty neat. Somewhere there's a picture of me, Robert Rodriguez, and the mayor of Austin together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They said, "Can you stand over there with them?" I'm like, I guess I can.
Well, we here at Absolute Geek.
I try to learn every time I go to one of those sets,
Yeah.
try to get better.
Absolutely. We here at Absolute Geek are big fans of the Walking Dead universe. So kind of being a retired educator, can you kind of break down and touch on what it was like going to the Walker School and what they taught you to be in the Walkers and kind of what all went into that?
Yeah, they actually take you to the side and train you how to walk. Now, it's amazing how some people just can't get it. I don't understand it, but and they put there's 3 levels of walkers. If you get to watching the show, there's the what's called a mask walker, which we are. And let me back up. There's 4 levels. There's the hero walkers, which actually have the makeup, the contacts. That's the ones with the cameras get really close up on them. And then there's the mask walkers. I could never be a hero because I had my beard, so they couldn't, do all the makeup. But and then there's the mask walkers is the next level, and then the next cut level is called a mid, and then it's the deep. And the ones that can't walk or don't have the look or whatever, they put them as deep, so that way they're just that fuzzy walker way back there in the back that you see. The mids, they've got some makeup on to discolor their face, and have a sort of mask on, not as detailed as the actual mask walkers. And so you get that different layers of zombies. And if you'll get to watching, you'll see that as you watch the show. And you learn how to walk. They teach you how to you walk like you're drunk or maybe hurt and dragging a leg. And there's they're always correcting you if they're walking too fast or too slow. Or a funny story, a lot of people are always trying to go on camera, and that's what you got to get past. And they picked out 10 of us to walk onto the bridge, and then the bridge is supposed to blow up, and through photography and all that, it does look like it blows up. Well, the first time we walked through it, all of a sudden, here come all these deeps, which is the ones with just a little bit of makeup, passing us up. There's all of a sudden like 50 of them on the bridge. We're like, wait a minute, there's only supposed to be 10 of us here. So they all charged past the stars. They charged past the stunt people. They were like, I'm getting on camera.
So you got to work with not just only Fear the Walking Dead, but you also got to do the main series too then, right, with the bridge blowing up?
It was just Fear the Walking Dead. I never was
just the Fear the Walking Dead? Okay.
Fear. But the one man, he did cross over, the one that carries the stick, and I'm blanking
Morgan?
his name right now. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
He rode in the van with us sometimes, and that's one that I had to walk right past. He's killing the zombies, and we're swamping them, and I get to walk right past him. And sometimes they'll talk. A lot of times the stars will talk to you, and sometimes they won't. But I understand why they won't. And then when we got into my movie, I understood exactly. I tried to, as a director, talk to everybody, make them all feel good and comfortable, which I think that's just part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it goes a long way, especially for actors and maybe extras to just kind of feel more at home and get a better performance out of them if it's a little bit more friendly conversation there.
Yeah, I didn't realize it, but one of the actors, one of the very first actors that signed on my movie, he told me, he said, "Man, you're an actor director." And I don't know what that means, but I hope it's good. But and the movie started out with 4 or 5 actors, and when those 4 or 5 actors signed on, some of them like Larry Welch, I was telling just the story. He's the one that told me that when he signed on and C.J. Morrison signed on, I was like, whoa, we may have something here. It nearly scared me. And now we've grown from those 4 or 5 actors to 250 plus actors, counting all the extras, plus a full film crew.
Wow.
So that movie has just blown up, but it's blown up in a good way.
What would you say has been your biggest takeaway from working and observing the likes of Kim Dickinson on Fear the Walking Dead, working with Pierce Brosnan, the Coen brothers, Robert Rodriguez, that you've been able to apply to your own style and how you approach character acting?
Uh, that's a good question. Pierce is very relaxed. When he gets in his moment, he's very serious. He does his work, and then when he steps out of that role, he's able to relax, and he also relaxes all us crowd, pulls jokes on us and things like that. Kim, she was excellent. She gets in that character, and she is in that character from the time she steps on set till the time she walks off. Uh, Watching her being serious like that is, really rubbed off on me on how to do that. And I'm pretty much an easygoing jokester type guy. But I know when to be serious, being a school superintendent and principal too. So watching them, there's a good balance there of when to be in character and when not to be in character. I don't want to be one of those actors or directors that people don't want to be around. Robert Rodriguez, when he'd see people kind of getting tense, and when I say tense, it's just because the hours are grueling on set. People don't realize that. When we were filming Alita Battle Angel, it was all night scenes that I was involved with. So, you're not used to shooting at night, and you're staying awake, and you've got 4 hours of dead time where you're just trying to stay awake and walking around, and the crew's working their tail off night after night, and all of a sudden you hear this guitar playing, and he's just walking through playing his guitar, and she's kind of relaxing everybody and making sure everybody's like, hey, just relax, have a good time, be on set. And then he'll actually run the camera sometimes. Nothing's too small for him. If you've ever read his book, you could nearly write my story right beside his on filmmaking, except his started earlier when he was having the real camera, the actual film. But and probably all people that start out big major motion pictures like this probably could say the same thing. You have the same trials and tribulations. The people that don't show, you cast somebody, they got lines, and you're counting on them, and they don't make it. They're not there. You're like, now what do we do? Mm-hmm. And so you grab somebody, say, go learn these lines real quick. We'll go. You learn to adjust. We had a couple of setbacks on our film, which makes the story even better or worse. I don't know. But, and I'm talking about Showdown on the Brazos. The sad part about it, my videographer, his mother passed away right as we was filming. And so we had to take a couple months off for that. And then one day I break a leg a little too literal, and horse fell on me on set and broke my leg. And, I went ahead and directed and acted the rest of the Saturday and all day, a 12-hour Sunday, and then had surgery on Wednesday and had a plate put in my leg. That's how severe it was broke. But I just told everybody on Sunday that it was a shootout scene and I'd got shot in my leg. I said, I wrote the story. I can change it.
Right.
And so that's why I was limping. But Saturday, the scene didn't call for me to be limping, and it's during a bank robbery, and I'm in the bank. And I'm just leaning against the wall, nearly puking. I mean, it is hurting so bad, but nobody knows it's broke. I didn't know it's broke, but nobody knows what's wrong. I was hiding it so well, but by the next day, I couldn't hide it, and we'd packed it with ice. And when it come time for me to act, we'd untape it, and I'd go out, and I'd come back, prop it up, and wrap it back nice, and keep directing. So, some pretty neat stories like that goes through, and we're going to dedicate this movie to Mrs. Wilburn, because she's the one that actually got me in touch with her son, who is my videographer, and we've just really hit it off well. She was an elementary principal, and one of my other side jobs is I mentor first year teachers, and so I had a teacher on her campus, and so we were talking, and she told me about her son, and before I started this project, and so I got him on board, and so really, if it hadn't been for her, this thing may have never taken off. And and you meet so many great people along the way. That's the great part of this business.
Absolutely. That's nice that they're going to dedicate that movie to her memory, and sorry for him for his loss.
Yeah, and it was real sudden. I mean, just cancer got her just in a few months, and boom, didn't know it was that serious, and she's gone. So seems like it always takes the best ones.
That's yes, it does, doesn't it? But I also see that you have a few credits to your name in directing, like you mentioned a few minutes ago, Showdown the Brazos. At what point did you get the bug to take your talents from in front of the camera to behind the camera?
I've been a writer for quite a while, and I really didn't publish anything until after I retired because I didn't want that political conflict, because being principal superintendent, there is that political side of it. But then I was working on a lot of independence because I read an article, if you want to be an actor, take everything that you can take, whether you get paid, get potato chips, pizza, you're lucky, do everything. And so that's what I did, a lot of independence, and, a lot of them turned out really good. Some of them maybe not so well, but I saw a lot of things on some of the independents that were done well. And then I saw a lot of things that unorganization, I guess I should say, put it all under that. And I kept saying, man, if I ever film one of my own, it's going to be a lot more organized than this. And so that kind of got me started. And a little side note is there was 4 of us on the Sun that were all outlaws together. And I kept telling us, guys, if I ever make my movie, y'all are going to be in it. And lo and behold, I'm able to work them into the Showdown on the Brazos. And we're just finishing up a short movie, which, I know you're supposed to start out shorts and then go long and feature. I never follow the rules, seems like. So, but we're wrapping up a short movie. It's called I've Got Your Six. It's about a military war veteran. And we had, my wife and I, she helps me. She's my second AD. And we had this idea of, why don't we make everybody in the movie use military veterans? And so that's what we did. We've got an 18-minute movie that everybody that appears on camera is a veteran of the United States military. And so that will be coming out pretty soon. And that one I was not in. I'm not a veteran, but I was able to sit back and direct it. And it's probably my AD that came in a while ago asked me which I like better, acting or directing. I think it's about 60-40. I love acting, but I think that 60% is directing right now, because as an actor, you get to create that persona of that one character, but with a director, you get to create paint the whole picture and tell the whole story. And so you weave all these things together. So it gives you a little more creativity, except, my next one, it's going to be fully funded. It's not going to be out of my pocket and this and that. So, but the good thing is, with me doing that, with being the costumer, the producer, everything about it, I've learned what it takes to do all that. And so on my next big project, once we sell Showdown, then the investors will come along for the next one. Then, now I know what I want as a costume director. Now I know what I want as a script person, or this, that, and the other. And so it'll be a lot more streamlined, and it'll be actually easier on me with not having to do all that. But we shot Saturday, and it was a scene that I'm not in, so I got to just be a director, and that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of help for a change. A lot of times we're on skeleton crew, but we had a big crew, had 3 actors and probably 10 crew people there. And so that's the way it should be. And it was so nice to be able to just sit there and watch my monitor and point and say, we need to change this. I want the actors to do this. And my AD would go in there and do that, or I'd get to go in there and work. I love working with the actors and telling them, being that I can act a little bit, I can. And of course, I wrote the script. I can sit there and say, okay, this is the way I want it, or I would like it. Use your own skills, but I would like this emphasis here and there and otherwise, and kind of go through it with them. And so they understand exactly what I'm wanting as far as their character. And then they put their personal twist on it too.
So have you taken any kind of acting classes or directing classes, like an improv or anything, or you just kind of decided, this is what I want to do, I'm going to go for it?
Both. I took my first acting classes a year ago,
Oh, wow.
last summer, and really enjoyed it. Michael Lyons put the class on, and I really learned a lot from it. In fact, one of the scenes in the Showdown, I sent it to him because we could bring our monologue or what we wanted to work on. I brought that monologue and we worked on it in class, and then I went back and shot it, and I sent it to him. And he said, "Yeah, I can see some things that I pointed out in class to me to work on," and he said, "You nailed it." And so the main thing about acting is in your mind. If you can switch off who you are and become that character, that's the main thing. I used to tease the makeup artist on Fear the Walking Dead and tell them I'm a character extra, instead of instead of character actor, where they get into character and they don't ever get out.
Yeah.
I tell them I spent last night on 6th Street in Austin so I could get in character. So, but but now the main thing on acting to me is just try to, number one, you got to memorize your lines, and number two, be able to become that person, and
Hmm.
that helps. And the more you do, the better you become. And I can tell when I've not been acting or not been writing, and then all of a sudden I start doing it on a regular basis. You can tell the difference on your writing. You can tell the difference on your acting and
Hmm.
like that. So I've had people on my movie, they had lines, big character, and I'm like, where'd those lines come from? Oh, you want me to follow the script you gave me? Yeah, that's why I sent it to you. Oh, okay. Well, you're like, okay, cut. You know, we're cutting that part. That's a good way to get yourself cut out of a movie, which that usually happens if they do that.
Yeah.
I've had people that switch characters. Tell them, okay, you're this extra. Well, they didn't like it, so they moved across the street. And at the end of the day, I'm like, what was that person doing over there? They're supposed to be over here.
Yeah.
We're not inviting them back. We've learned a lot of things, and the advice I'd give extras that want to move on is just follow the lead, follow what you've been told to do, and do it the best you can, and things will come and progress, and you'll get that role with a line in it eventually, and then you'll just keep getting build up. When I got cast in the Rooster Teeth on that 11 Little Roosters, I didn't realize I had lines until I walked in. They said, "Okay, here's your script." And I was like, "Okay." And I walked into the bathroom, started screaming, "Yeah, I got lines!" And then they dubbed over me in Croatian, so
Ah,
I didn't even know I could speak Croatian.
there you go. Doing something new every day in the film industry, right?
That's right. That's right. But yeah, it's a blast. Who doesn't like to get dress up and pretend they're somebody else, whether it's a military or cowboy or whatever, or zombie,
Right.
things like that. Side note, we were getting our makeup on for a zombie, and they're in Austin, and there's a daycare right beside us. And the parents would grab their kids and running them inside because they're like, we don't want them to see whatever's going on up there. Because
Yeah.
walking out in that zombie makeup is a little scary for the little kids.
Yeah. So do you feel that your time as an actor has kind of enhanced your ability as a director and made you more of an actor's director, and kind of given you
Oh,
that feel to better maybe explain what you're looking, your vision towards an actor, and kind of give them a better direction than most actors might be able to?
I think so. And being a teacher also, those two things I think really go hand in hand. Being a director and a teacher, and also being an actor along with it. I don't ever, when I was a principal and superintendent, my main line was, I'll never ask anybody to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. And it kind of goes over in this same situation. I would never ask an actor to do something that I wouldn't do. And so, some of the things like sitting there for 4 hours and having nothing to do, uh, that's pretty common on movie sets, but I don't like it on my movie set. So I try to always have something for everybody to do, so they're not sitting there for, they may be there for an hour or two just because we're setting up a new scene, but that sitting there for three
Oh,
is, really tough on the actors. So that's one of the biggest things I took away is I'm not going to have dead time. And then, being able to teach the actors what I want, and be able to talk to them in the lingo without demeaning anybody. This is, everybody's got skills, and you just want to try to expand on those, and you just try to explain, okay, this is what I want in terms that they can understand. I know there's some directors out there, and I love John Ford's movies, but reading, I don't know who could work for him, because I'm reading a biography about him now, and wow, you talk about tough on set. Now he was tough, you know, and so I don't want to ever be. I'd love to put the output that he does, but I don't want to get there like he did,
Mm-hmm.
and but sometimes you got to. Like we had one actor, we're trying to get him fired up. So I got one of my assistants. I said, go get him fired up. So he took him outside and just tried to make him as mad as he could be. Shook him and made him run and things like that, trying to get him in character and break a sweat and come in there. And so that, you use every possibility way that you can get the person in the right character.
Well, I'm sure for you as being a retired educator and in that field for 30 plus years, you're probably able to pick up on people's learning abilities and the way they learn and their different learning types, and kind of use those to your advantage when you're directing also, and help
Exactly.
them to better understand.
Exactly. And sometimes you have, when you see that you've overloaded somebody, which you don't mean to, but sometimes it just doesn't work, and so it's time to start cutting lines. And in this business, you cannot wear your feelings on your sleeves, because I've had my lines cut because it just doesn't flow well. And I tell them on Showdown or any of my movies I wrote, it's not Shakespeare.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work for you, try to reword it to where it would work for you. But sometimes, we overload our actors by accident, and we have to cut their lines or go at it a little different way. And that's where, like you said, that educator comes in, to where you can say, okay, let's do it different. Let's try it this way instead of that way, and let's trim this and still get the meaning, because you got to be careful and not trim too much, or you lose your story. So
yeah.
So it's a molding process, I guess I should say.
So what is it about the Western genre that's enticed you so much over the years?
Well, I was raised on a farm and watched every John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart movie, every Glenn Ford movie that came out. Dressed that way. I was an agriculture teacher, agriculture major, so wear a cowboy hat daily, boots and jeans. Now, since I retired, I'm a little more shorts and t-shirt kind of guy, flip flops, but we got a vineyard, and I worked more as shorts there, but that was just my choice. I loved country music. I loved country, everything Western, and I'll tell you, there's some really bad Westerns out there, but there's some really good ones. And I wrote this in the old John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart type genre. And the reluctant hero rides into town, saves the town, leaves with the lady. And so and I wanted also to capture that 1950s feel, where the family goes to the theater, watches the movie, and comes out, and the whole family together, not just mom and dad, mom, dad, and the kids, because there's no sex or cussing in the whole movie. And so then they come out and say, man, they forgot their problems. They didn't realize, they didn't think about work for an hour and a half. They didn't think about what was going on at the house for an hour and a half. They sat there and really enjoyed the movie and kicked back and relaxed and escaped. And that's what movies are. They're an escape from reality.
Absolutely.
For people to come in and watch and get away from what's going on and entertain the mind. That's sports. You go escape from reality just for that little bit. And so that's what I was trying to accomplish, is that get that hour and a half. I don't know if it's going to be on the big screen. Not going to be depending on the distributor, but whether it's on Netflix or big screen, just be able to, the family can sit down together and watch a good Western.
Yeah. All right. So, inquiring minds want to know. All right.
Okay.
John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, Sam Elliott, or Bill Foster? Who is the best on-screen Old West cowboy?
Well, depends on where you cast them. My favorite's always going to be John Wayne. He's a class act. Clint Eastwood's going to be your dirty, gritty type of Western guy, and then Sam Elliott's going to be your right hand man that's always going to be there and got that wonderful voice of his, and then here comes Bill. Yeah, but you're funny. You mentioned Sam. I'm using him as a role model for Saturday's filming because we're going to change up some stuff. And I tell everybody, picture Sam Elliott in this role. Not that I'm going to try to copy him, but I'm going to just picture him in that role. And so he's been one of my favorites for a long time. And I love what in fact, I use Clint Eastwood's model of directing because he doesn't shoot it 15 times. He'll shoot 3 or 4 times and change angles because he says you lose the originality and the spontaneity of the shot. And so, a lot of people are saying, don't you want to shoot that more times? No, 3 or 4 times. If we've got it twice, that's great. We're going to move on and shoot a different angle. On some of the sets I've been, some of the, high dollar sets, they would shoot the same angle 15, 16 times. And so, you figure 8 hours for a 3-minute scene, something like that. So we're trying to get a lot more done in that time. So yeah, when there's time, like Saturday and this past Saturday, yeah, we spent a lot of time on probably a 5-minute scene, but we had the time to spend. But, we're not going to set that. We got a lot of different angles, but we're not going to shoot it 15 times from the same angle. They nailed it the first time. Let's get another one for safety, and then we move on. So, and Clint Eastwood has seen, I think he's seen our trailer because I was in a winery in Wilcox, Arizona, and this guy, I was talking to him. He said, yeah, my neighbor kind of likes Westerns. And he said, you know who he is? I didn't know who the man was at the time. And he said, I live in Carmel, California. My next door neighbor's Clint Eastwood. And I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Well, here, show him my trailer, see if he likes it or not. So
there you go. I know you're kind of using his same idea with your I Got Your Six movie because he put all those actual military people that in I can't remember the movie he did about the train to Paris with the terrorist attack that happened on the train to Paris.
Oh yeah.
So that's really cool that you're doing something like that as well. We can't get enough of our veterans in roles and stuff and working when they come back. So
and it's dedicated to them. I mean, I've got your six. Like I said, the World War II veteran. He sees in the newspaper his land is being turned into a shopping center, so he escapes from the nursing home and he just wants to go see his farm one last time. And all the, suddenly the deputy and him find a common ground because the deputy's fresh out of Iraq war, and so they've got that common ground. And the sheriff and marshal, he's telling him to bring the man in because he's not a veteran, he doesn't understand, and they get this fight on the radio, so other veterans hear it, and so they all come like the cavalry charging in to save the old man. So it's turned out unbelievable. I mean, it's so amazing when you write something and then see it come to life. That it's just surreal. You can't explain it. And of course, you get so much into it and work so hard, you nearly lose that perspective sometimes. Like, oh yeah, I did write this. So.
And do you have any projects coming up that you want to plug to our listeners and viewers at home?
You bet. Our next major motion picture is called I Heard the Quail Whistle. I wrote the manuscript and just changed it into a screenplay. The manuscript actually won in a contest, best fiction and best overall unpublished work. Wow. And so hopefully we'll have the book and the movie at the same time. But, when we sell a Showdown, then the investors will come along and we'll be able to film that one. We're planning to film it in New Mexico. And so we can't wait to get started on that one. COVID kind of knocked everybody back from Hollywood all the way to Texas. And so everybody's, 6 months behind. So hopefully we can start pre-production in October. Hopefully Showdown's going to come out about that same time. We can start pre-production. And I Heard the Quail Whistle. The twist of this one, it's a Western, but it's a woman is a hero. And my wife challenged me to write that story. And so you can't turn down a challenge from your wife.
Absolutely not. You'll never live it down.
That's right. Because I've written 3 or 4 novels and, I always had the man, the hero, the big swashbuckler type Western, and she's like, you write all these about men heroes. You need to write one about a woman hero. So I was, okay. So I sat down right that day and started typing away. And I came up with this one. And she gets tired of being the victim and becomes a vigilante and kills in a lot of different ways. So
where can our listeners find you?
You can go to my IMDb page under Bill Foster or Showdown on the Brazos, and we try to put a lot of background pictures on there, and also Facebook. I've got a just under Bill Foster and Showdown on the Brazos, and we're in the process of getting a website built right now, but we haven't got it up yet, and so we just started that today. So hopefully we'll have that soon. I'll let you know.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening, Bill. I understand you're busy and appreciate you taking some time out to sit down with me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Guys, make sure you go check out Bill's body of work. Check out The Sun starring Pierce Brosnan. Check out his episodes. We'll link him in below, and Fear the Walking Dead, as well as Alita Battle Angel. And make sure to be on the lookout for Showdown on the Brazos when it finally comes to a theater or streaming platform near you. Thank you so much for joining, and you have a great night.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.